Welcome back, racers, to yes, the start of our global SS challenge. We are here in the EMEA region in our Macca as we enter Jessica Storm, or she enters us. I'm not quite sure which one we're going to go for. If you don't know what this is or what I'm attempting here, I'm trying to get 5 different SS ratings or rankings, whatever you want to call it. So in the 5 regions, Oceania, Asia, EMEA, Central and South America, and North America. And not only that, but I have made it even harder for myself by choosing the worst 5 manufacturers from last season, which are Mitsubishi, McLaren, Volkswagen, Dodge, and Citroen. So here we go then, round number 2. We did do round 1 in the McLaren only, and then I realised that I absolutely suck in the wet weather. I just didn't enjoy it at all, and there was no way I was going to do 5 hours of racing in a race that I just didn't enjoy. So we're starting round 2, but we do have 600 points as a buffer for the McLaren. So if you don't know as well, the manufacturers, this is a exhibition season, obviously, for the FIAs, and the races have been made longer. So instead of the usual 9 or 10 lap race or whatever it is, it's now 19 laps for Interlagos. I think it's Fuji round 3. Fuji short is going to be 17 laps. So that's the kind of length that we're looking at now. And not only that, they've put in a tyre requirement as well. So just like they do at the World Tour events where you have to use a certain tyre, in this race you must use the hard tyre. It doesn't matter if you don't use the medium, but you must use the hard tyre at some point in the race. Otherwise you get a 20-second penalty at the end. So there we go, that's all the information that you need, and now we can focus back on the racing. Coming round to finish our fastest lap then, and we managed to stay in the slipstream of the Italian in front of us, and that really helped us. As you can see, this is our 3rd lap on these tyres, so the tyres were a little bit worn, but keeping in that slipstream really helped us. And looking at the delta on the top left, Jimmy PRST is going to go into 3rd. The Italian then goes into 4th for a brief second, but then we take back 3rd on the line by a couple of hundredths of a second. Boo Boo Racing in the other McLaren as well. Very fast driver. Good to see another McLaren driver up here. But obviously some kind of disconnect issues, as we always say with Gran Turismo Sport, as there are only 16 races starting, so that actually has a big effect on the driver rating points available for this race. I think they were 1500 was the number 1 spot, whereas usually you would see 1800, 1900 with around 45,000 driver ratings. So it's a little bit lower than what we would like as a group of drivers, but we have to drive it anyway. And starting in 3rd would give us, I don't know, probably 1200, 1300 points maybe, which is very good for our first dry outing in the McLaren. So let's talk about strategies. The length of the race, the longer races, means that there are more available strategies for the race, and then putting in that tyre requirement as well really ramped up the number of choices we have as a racer to make within the 19 laps of this race. So before driving the McLaren around Interlagos, I have already done the Volkswagen and the Citroen in the Asian and the Oceania regions. So I'm pretty familiar with the strategy that I'm going to put in place and what is quickest for me. I think the best strat overall was obviously fuel saving, because you do have to put in fuel, so the more fuel you can save is better, obviously, because then you spend less time in the pits and more time racing on track. But the best strat for tyres were, for the aliens anyway, was to pit on lap 8 or 9, I think, on the mediums, and then finish up the rest of the laps on the hard tyres, so only 1 pit stop. Or obviously you go hard tyres first and then finish on the mediums. But regardless, for the normies and the average drivers like you and me, a 2-stop worked better, because then I could drive on fresher tyres rather than trying to manage worn tyres. So pitting on lap 6 and then pitting on lap 13. And that is the strat that I was fastest at in my practice sessions, and that's what I'm going to do. So first lap I just tried to stick with the faster players up front. We're going to receive a little bit of a booty tap there from the Italian behind us, but we are going to regain that position. I think he didn't go past us on purpose, but we're going to get a little bit of a slide on here. And the McLaren is one of those cars that if you do try to counter a slide and you get it wrong, you will just be snapped into oblivion and have your face in one of those barriers. So the Italian then looking up the inside, he's not really alongside and he just hits my rear left wheel, and another little bit of contact there by accident, and we're off the track and we're down to 6th position. What do you think about that incident there? Let me know in the comments below. I would say that he wasn't alongside me enough to make that move. There was the space there. I did give him the space, but there was contact and we came off worse because of it. But, you know, I thought to myself, okay, we can't do anything about it right now. We just need to stay focused, stay consistent, and work our way back up to try and get past him as fairly as possible. So we are behind Zfix McB, the Frenchman in front of us in the Aston Martin. We were in a practice lobby with him earlier, and I have the feeling, well, I was faster than him in that session, so it's good for my confidence, good for my psyche to know that I can get past him if I stay consistent. We know how fast that Aston Martin is in a straight line though, so this drag up the start-finish straight is going to be pretty hard to get anything done. But we kind of go past him a little bit, always staying with him, so that would suggest that he may be fuel saving. He does start to creep away over on the right there, but we are going to still try to go up the inside. Later on the brakes, he's just going to give us the space and we're just going to take it nice and easy, like taking candy from a baby. I don't think he was too fussed about it though. I think he's more worried about the fuel and being smart and not losing time while battling with other cars. So we're going to skip forward from lap 3 to lap 6, or the start of lap 6 now, as we see we have kept the gap to the Italian in front just pretty consistently, and we're just going to let the Aston Martin go up the inside there. He's obviously faster, and like the lap before, I don't want to lose time battling with other drivers because that might affect us over the course of the longer race. So end of lap 6 then, we jump into the pits. We've done a pretty good job of saving fuel, 54% left in the car. We're just going to change the tyres, we don't need to put any fuel in, and we're going to go to 0 on this second stint. So the thinking here is that you do 6 laps on the medium to start off the race, and then you do 7 laps on the medium as the middle stint. The reason that you do the longer stint on the second set of tyres is that you have less fuel in your car, so your car is lighter, therefore wearing your tyres less. So there you go, that is the method behind the madness. Jumping forward again to the end of lap 7, we're going to see a couple more people jump into the pits. You see the first and second drivers, well, the people who were in first and second, they're doing a 2-stop, I believe, and Jimmy PRST is going for a 1-stop, so he'll be pitting in the next lap or so to switch for the first and final time. Coming through here, nearly getting a slide on there. He's indicating to the right, so he's just letting me know that he's going to stay on the right and I can go up the inside on the left. Good, smart driving there from the Macca buddy. Oh, McLaren friend. Oh, McLaren friends. But then we're going to jump forward a couple of laps and a couple more people have pit in, and we're going to see ourselves in 7th position. There on the left, you see the Italian just coming out of the pit lane. We are going to see if we can get out in front of him. Yes, we are. We're going to do the same move as we did the McLaren earlier on Iceman FXXR in the Porsche, which puts us up into 6th position, and now we go about catching the 2 French boys in front of us. The guy in front of us is in a Lexus, and I believe he is going for a 1-stop, so going to pit in a couple of laps. He is on hard tyres, same with McB as well. So we've caught up to him on lap 10, so taking off 2 seconds over the span of a lap really suggests that he is on those hard tyres and that they are worn hard tyres at that. Coming around here, keeping the throttle in, we do look up the inside, we have the better tyres, and we're just going to brake a little bit later and slide into that 4th position. And now we are staring at the back of McB again in that blue Aston. So coming around on lap 13, we're going to jump into the pits. The Frenchman pit in on lap 11, going for that 1-stop, so we're going to see him again pretty soon. But this is the pit stop where we have to put in fuel as well. You see the little white dot just beneath the petrol symbol there. That's where we have to fill it up to be able to have enough fuel to last us to the end of the race. So this is setting up for a very, very close ending couple of laps then. We are on the hard tyres. So that does mean that we are going to be slower than when we were on the medium tyres, of course. I'm not sure what tyres old McBee is on either. He was on the hard, so it would suggest to me that he is on the mediums now, so he's going to have more grip. And look at the gap there. He's had a really good outlap on those medium tyres. Iceman behind us as well. So we have just got to hope that we can stick with the Frenchman in front of us, and hopefully his tyres will start to wear and he'll become slower at the end of the race, whereas our hard tyres will have more life in them and we can track and hunt him down. So then, last couple of pit stops happening in front of us then. Boo Boo Racing going in. He's going to be battling for the lead, I'm sure. But also the Italian went into the pits as well. There he is in 6th position there. I'm not sure what tyres he's going to go on to, but once again, he was on the hard tyres. He's going for a 2-stop. That means he's going to be on those medium tyres for the last couple of laps. There he is coming out of the pits just like before. We're just going to have that little bit of a lead on him. But he is on those medium tyres, which does mean that he is going to be hunting us down. But good for us, we have a barrier of the Austrian in between us and him. Skipping forward to lap 17 though, he has managed to dispatch the Austrian and get past him and into our slipstream now. This is going down to the wire. Obviously the Aston Martin in front of us on those medium tyres, but they are starting to wear, so we are starting to reel him in as well. Very, very interesting, and this is what I have loved about this race. All 3 cars here have been on different strategies. A 1-stop for the Aston in front of us and a 2-stop for me and the Italian. And even me and the Italian have done different tyre strategies on that 2-stop. But this has to be a very defensive lap for us, and it sort of ruins the fact that we're trying to catch up to the car in front, but we have to be a little bit more defensive in our driving to make sure that the Italian doesn't get past us. A quick note about the fuel saving. Throughout the race, this section here, I switched to fuel map 2 to just save that extra bit of time. It didn't really affect my lap time, so just in case you were wondering, it's good to switch down that fuel map in the slower corners. But then you do need to make sure you are on fuel map 1 when you come out of the corners to get that good launch, that good acceleration. The final lap then, what is going to happen? We have always been faster than the Aston on this final corner, and those worn tyres are not helping him, but they are helping us now as we are in the slipstream of the car in front, which is going to make it very difficult for the Mercedes behind to pass us in a straight line. Fuel is looking good as well. We don't need to worry about fuel saving on this last lap. We can go full out attack and defense for this last lap, going a little bit defensive, so that pushes the Italian to the outside, making sure we stick nice and close to the apex so we can't get that cutback and a nice run out of the corner. A bit of a slide for us, but we managed to catch it, and there is a little bit of contact there. Obviously neither of us could have gotten out of the way. I couldn't have gotten out of the way, and there was nowhere for the Mercedes to go, but that has given the Frenchman in front a little bit of breathing space. The last lap then seems to be intensifying, getting a nice run out of this corner, much better than the Aston Martin in front. Sees us close up the gap, which is good because we have been faster through this tight technical section than the struggling Aston Martin in front. This tight right-hander though, I'm going to come in a little bit too hot, and there may have been contact, but we will never know because the Italian goes in even hotter than me, hits into me, which cannonballs me into the Frenchman, completely ruining his last lap. And it seems like the Italian is just going to run away to the finish. I was a little bit frustrated, as you would imagine, so I did give him a couple of flashes of my lights, as you would in this situation. And I did think about giving that position back to the Frenchman, but then I thought about it, and it wasn't my place to give the position back. It wasn't my fault that there was an incident. If anyone should, it should be the Italian in front. So obviously a big F in chat for McBee behind us. But you know what? We're going to come across the line here, and the Italian in front is just going to lift off the gas and let us take that 5th position. So only just, but we did get that 5th position. So you know what? Fair play for him for doing that. He didn't have to do that, but that was the right thing to do. It's just a shame that the Frenchman's race was ruined by it as well. But it is what it is, and we can't change it now, so I would love to know your thoughts about it in the comments section below. And that's it. We're going to finish in 5th and get 1100 points, which is going to put us 7th in manufacturers for the McLaren. So SS is firmly in sight in EMEA. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you are as excited as I am to see how we do in this SS challenge. So thank you for watching, liking and subscribing. Thank you to the channel members and we'll see you in the next one.